Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. So today is Tuesday. It is May 12th. All right. We're going to get this started here. We got 9:30 in just about 1 minute. So we'll see if we can get this to pop for us today like it did yesterday. So we'll see what happens at the open here. Looking good. All right. Pre-market, if you guys watched it, you guys know what we're looking for. We have this nice divergence here into a higher time frame point of interest. Okay, so we got the first 2 points of our checklist basically checked off. Okay, thanks, Anna. And now we have the change of character. Okay, now we want to see price closing above previous daily high here at the open, right? And then closing above this structure here. So right now, as you can see, we have bearish structure going down, right? We don't have a break of structure to the upside just yet. Aside from this change of character, which is the first indication, right? But the structure here, oh, we got divergence here, could still hold previous daily low, and we could still continue to go lower, right? There's another point of interest below us, so there's another sweep below us if we want to sweep below. And there goes the open, right? So let's see how this closes here. Let's go to the 1 minute, and we'll start to watch from our 1 minute, and we've got our nice PO3 on here. That'll keep us privy to the 15-minute. Okay, our opening range high and low here. Boku Pips. Welcome, sir. Yeah, you've been MIA for a while. Good to have you back. All right, big displacement candle lower, so I would assume that we're probably going to make a run for this low here and sweep out that low. Oh, a little pullback. Let's see what happens. Oh, maybe not. Hey Zane, good to see you, buddy. Nice to have you on the stream again. Okay, so remember, the direction is bullish, right? You got a 15-minute bullish direction, daily bullish direction, right? We're looking for now confirmation, so closure above daily high, or sorry, daily low here, right? And this structure that we just created, we have the change of character. So coming back now to the change of character, retesting the change of character here, and then seeing price go up is what we want us to have happen, right? We're not trading this particular move, although that's the move we want to occur, is now coming back to the change of character, retesting it, right? Hitting this order block, and then continuing upwards for the break of structure. What we want to see is that break of structure so that we have confirmation that we have turned around, that this is going to be the daily wick or the 4-hour wick, and then we're going to see price now continue from this. So we break structure, then we look for our retracement into our discount, and then we trade this move higher, right? That's the idea anyway. So let's see if we get it. Okay, that's a nice strong close back above, right? We've got our imbalance here, 1 minute imbalance holding if we stay below it. Hello, Eve. How are you doing? Good to have you back. Our trade from yesterday played out pretty well. If we had held it and kept it going, we got in right around here, right? And look at this nice move up. So very nice trade. Actually, I think we got it around here, around the 300, and it went up to 480. So we had like a 180 point move. Let's see if we can catch another one like that today. All right, this is looking very good. Now I just need to see the displacement through that imbalance. Beautiful. All right, didn't quite get the close through, but we did get a nice bullish candle right into it. Oh, and a big reaction from that. Wow. All right, this is why we kind of stay away from this open volatility, right? Because of this kind of wishy-washy stuff, manipulating traders, stopping people out. And then once we get the real kind of direction, we try to jump in on the direction. Same thing happened yesterday, really. If you look at what happened yesterday, there was a lot of, this is a lot of shaking out long holders, right? You can see what we did here. We took out this entire consolidation, actually. Asia, London consolidation, all the way down here to this Asia low, right? And that's where we got in. So we got in at the perfect time, right at the reversal. We don't have that really today here because we already cleared out liquidity in Asia, in London, and London here now in this New York. So I'm really expecting this to be the reversal if we're going to reverse, which is why we want this structure to hold and come back up here, right? So this right now being the reversal, potentially, so this low here, I really don't expect price to come down through this low today if we're going to go up. I want this to be the turnaround. I want this to be the bottom wick. And I mean, if it does come down a little bit, fine, right? But I don't really expect a huge run through or anything like that. And if it does do that, right, and we get a huge reaction from, you know, the imbalances below, because we still have some points of interest below, it would still make sense because in the grand scheme of things, if you look at the range, right, we're still at the very top of the range, you know, on the last, on this pullback, right? So this is the range right now that we're in, high to low. Right, so we're still kind of in the upper portion on the higher time frame. So we could, in fact, trade lower, right? And we'd almost want it to. Right, this is the daily imbalance right here. This is the daily order block. So we would trade, you know, pretty much into the discount of the imbalance and then trade into the order block. The order block is here. Let's mark this out here because I think this is going to be maybe a point of sensitivity if we actually do get down this far. This is 28,930, so it's only about 200 points below us. It's not that far down, right? It's certainly a move that NQ could make without breaking a sweat. Right, and it's interesting that the imbalance is the midpoint is that high. It runs right through it, so that is interesting. I actually think that's pretty amazing. So the midpoint of this imbalance right here is the top of that daily order block, right? And it overlaps here with this 15-minute order block and into this 15-minute imbalance. So this is probably an area that we can shoot for it to go lower if we do get that break. So let's see what happens. Right, I'm gonna wait for this next 15-minute closure, right, at the 45-minute mark and see where we at with this candle. Right now it looks like kind of a very long kind of bearish wick. that we're having here. So this structure, like I said, is holding, and this 15-minute OB here is what I'm expecting to hold to the low. So as long as we don't violate that, I think price will continue to go higher from here. And then if we get the closure above previous daily low and the structure, then that will confirm it for me, right? And then that's not all, right? Because then we need to wait for the retracement. The retracement is what we're looking for our setup to form in the discount for this move. All right, so there's still some stages of development of this setup to play out that we need to see. All right, and for those of you that did not hear it yesterday, didn't see it yesterday, we do have some adjustments or some updates to the indicator, the bias indicator, right? So your dashboard's going to look a little different right now because the percent retrace is gone now. Okay, and this is going to show zone, right? What that means is we're going to have price will show you premium or discount of the candle, right? Or it's going to show you if we've gone beyond the candle. Right here you can see we're inside of this candle in the premium. Before it said ERL, which is external range liquidity, high right there, right? So this means that we've gone above the candle high, right? External range. And if it goes below the candle, it's going to say ERL low with a L. Okay, and then the EQ tested obviously is the same. So EQ tested just means that we've gone back to the midpoint of the candle and we've retested it. Okay, so on a bullish setup, what we want to see is we want to see 15-minute bullish CRT, obviously. When the retracement, we want to see price come back into the discount, and we want to see EQ tested. Okay, sorry, I was no, kind of denoting it on this 1 minute candle, but what this is actually calculating is the 15-minute candle, right? So now you can see the 15-minute is above the previous 15-minute candle, so the ERL high has been breached, right? If we come back into the range right here, there you go. See, now we're back below the high, so now we're in the premium, and it kind of flip-flops around, right? Just so you understand what that means. Dashboard looking good. Thanks. Okay, so we have the closure above on the 1 minute. We don't have the closure above yet on the 15, but I mean, this is a pretty good reaction. That's exactly what we wanted to see, right? For price to hold this order block for the change of character, right? And then give us a 1 minute change of character here. So we're, you know, essentially we're looking for this to retrace back into here and pop up. All right, and we got about 2.5 minutes to go, and it looks very good, right? So we wanted this high to be closed above for the break of structure. We have the break above previous daily low, which is looking very good as well. Now this is looking fantastic. Could we have made a case for taking the buy here? Probably. I mean, there was the change of character and then price coming back to the change of character here. Really, we want to see price retest this order block and go up. So was there an internal? There wasn't an internal low until we made this at the open here. Then there was an internal low. And then you can see here taking that sweep, and there's like a 2-tick sweep. Almost. Low here is 145.75 and this low is 143.75. So 2 points below on the sweep into the order block, right? And then if you were to take the limit entry, would be right here. Stop goes below the low, below the psych level, about a 45-point stop, blown through that, right? If we take the confirmation, this sweep here closes above, but it's bearish. So I would right. Oh, I just got a little disconnect thing there. How are we doing on YouTube land? Okay, still connected, right? All right, look at that candle. All right, we're going to close in 30 seconds. Everything's going to be fulfilled for our bullish bias in this case here, right? I'm going to wait for retracement or pull back into the range, and then we'll see if we can capture a nice long setup from this if we can. Right, we got a nice divergence into a point of interest with a liquidity sweep. We've got imbalance, right? Inversion as well. Everything, right? All 5 steps of the checklist has been fulfilled. Now all we need to do is see a retracement back into an internal sweep. Okay, our order block in this case is going to be this right here. Okay, and then now we just need to wait for retracement to occur. Okay, so there's the closure above the high, right? And now we just want to see price come back into the range here. An internal swing we have in the discount, whichever. Well, the swing high still has to form first. Okay, so a couple things can happen. Obviously, we have this nice big bullish candle here, right? We have this candle that's forming right now. So the next 15 minutes, depending on what this candle does here, how this closes and what it looks like, we're going into the 10 o'clock open with potentially a, nope, never mind. I was going to say potentially a 15-minute imbalance. Okay, but nope, we just negated that right there. All right, so now we have our range. High and low. Okay, and now we want to see price come back to this change of character here. So we're looking for it to come back to around the 200 level. We've got our swing right here. Internal swing in the discount right here. And we want it to touch the change of character line here, right? So looking for it to come back to about 200 here. And then our stop is going to go below the low, below the cycle level at 120. So we're looking at about an 80-point stop. It's kind of big, but the expectation for this is to go all the way up to previous daily high. So we have a lot of range to the upside here. Just taking out the high itself, though, will be around 100 points. So about a 1.2 R if we can get it. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, coming down to our low. See if we can get a tag of that 200 level. And let's see if we can get a nice reaction. All right, 15-minute bullish, right? Didn't get the, well, I don't know why we didn't get, oh, because, let's see. Let's just take a look on the 15 here. I should have gotten EQ tested. I'm not sure why that doesn't say, because that is, oh, there we go. All right, so EQ is tested. There you go. We did get our sweep. All right, so technically we would be in this trade here on a limit. But let's see if we could close back above, or do we come down to hit this 200? I do want it to come down and hit the 200. We got a little tiny imbalance right here. And if we hit the 200 and close back above, then I will be in the trade. So 30 seconds to see if we do that. And also we could create like another swing here, right? That we could then sweep into the discount here. Okay, so we're not getting that closure. Let's see if we get the 200 tag. If this closes bullish, I'll take it. But I would rather see it hit the imbalance here. So coming down to like 190 would be great. 180 even. Right? That's another psych level we want to see hit. So let's see what happens. 30 seconds to go. And then I'll adjust my stop accordingly, obviously. I'm going to put my stop on it. Okay, that's a good reaction. Let's see what happens here. $16 seconds. Sorry, so this closes bullish. We're going to take the trade, so just get ready if you're going to take it with me. Entry is going to be around 225, looks like. Right at the previous daily low. My stop is going to go just underneath the psych level. Oh, we got divergence. Very good. All right, we're in the trade. Okay, see if we get a nice reaction here. It's looking very good. Okay, let's see what happens. It might come down lower to hit the 200. I think it might do that. And there it goes. And if we get a closure above the 200 is what we want to see. That's the good reaction. So let's see if it does that in the next 42 seconds. Ten seconds. Closing below. Closing below is not good. Might hit the 80 level. Let's see what happens at the 80 level. Oof. Very tight. Turn around. Okay, that's good. It hits the imbalance there. So there we go. That's a nice reaction. Close above the 200 is good. We very close to getting stopped out there, but was saved for now. Let's make this bigger here so we can get this nice full on view here. 6 seconds closing above. Yes, very good. Close above the previous daily low. That would be even better. There we go. Now we're back to break even. We're back to entry. That was a good close though. So we want this to continue now. There we go. There we go. There we go. Some momentum now. Always a roller coaster. Nearly got taken out, but turned around. Right, and now we're getting some momentum. All right, we're going to look for the run above the high here, right? We have, let's see, price closing above the previous daily high now, which is fantastic. Our 1-to-1 is right here. which is at around 269. I'm going to say 270. Okay, once we get to that, we can take profit or we can ride it out. Okay, and I would probably take profit before the 10 o'clock bell, unless unless we see something really bad. But closing above near a high here, closing above previous daily low, are all good signs going into 10 o'clock. Yep. And this is good now, right? Now we've got the 1 minute change of character. We're going to assume that price is going to hold this, right? We've got divergence, we've got displacement, we've got everything we need to see basically to keep this in profit. We just want to stay above previous daily low. All right, I'm getting a little scared here. Let's see if it stays above 200. We don't want it to go back below 200. That would be bad. And this is where some people might get spooked, right? Move their stop a little bit too early. We might get stopped out. I think it's possible, and that's what NASDAQ does, right? It's pretty volatile either way. You get a 100 point. Oh, there we go. I think we just got stopped. Oh, I am still in this somehow. Nope. I just got stopped. Never mind. All right, it tagged our stop, no worries. I mean, it hit the 180 level here, right? And we're getting that confirmation here. If this closes back above the 200, this might go up, all right? So let's see what this does. It happens, right? It happens. It was in profit about 20 or 30 points. So, I mean, there was a little bit there. But let's just see what the 10 o'clock does, because I think it could do what it did yesterday, take out this level here, and then come back up after that. So we still have another chance. And we'll see what it does after it takes out one of these levels. This level here, like I said, I don't really expect it to go. If it goes, then we're probably looking at this being a reversal. And if you look at this, we have 3 minutes left until this 15-minute candle closes, and it's closing like this. So, that's it's probably not going to be bullish for at least the near term until we take out some liquidity. So, this is probably looking very likely now. But let's see. NASDAQ does some pretty funny things sometimes. All right, take out this, and then turn around. The level here below is that 29K level. I should see around that 29K a point of interest, which we do, right? So we have this imbalance here. Take this level out and then turn around. This is the level we were looking for it to sweep if it came below the previous daily high, right? But this level here is so close to it, it very well may. All right, let's watch. Here we go. This looks like it could be it. Okay, you want to see if we close back above that high, or that low. This was CPI, right? CPI came down and then we pumped above it. So CPI level here, taking out, that would be significant. And I think we just did, no, this is 113.25. This is 113.50. So one tick away. So very close. All right, so I want to see price come down, sweep this, and close above, but also close above this. If we close above both of those, we can enter another long, but only if we get the closure above both of those levels after the sweep. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you look here, right, into our range, sorry, this one right here. This is our 4-hour imbalance down here. Actually, we didn't touch it yet, so maybe I'll wait until we get down to that. I thought we touched it, so maybe not. Okay, never mind. My bad. Still gotta wait. Okay, and there's 10 o'clock, right? There's the 10 o'clock close. The 4-hour candle is a big bearish candle, so there's going to be some momentum going to the downside here. We did just get that sweep though, right? And here's that movement. So we'll see if we get close back above. I was going to take a buy if we did get the closure above here, but I'm not going to do that now because I thought we were into the 4-hour imbalance down below, but we were not. So didn't get our higher time frame point of interest tagged, which is our first step. So we need to see the first step is our higher time frame point of interest tagged, right? In this case, our 4-hour imbalance right down here. There isn't a 15-minute, there is actually a 15-minute overlap would be this right here underneath this low. Okay, so at least coming down here into that point of interest, then the sweep, right? And then the closure back above. But if we get that on the 15-minute, here, we would still need to wait for price to give us like a displacement and then a retracement. So let's see what happens here. This looks like it would be a nice move up here. So we swept that, closed above. This candle closes. I mean, this is right on the borderline here. We could have probably entertained the long there. But like I said, we didn't hit our point of interest, so I'm going to stay out of this one, even though this might go. We'll see if it does. What I think is going to happen now is we're going to get, because now we're bearish, right? So we've got a 15-minute bearish, okay? And we have our break below. So this is now our 15-minute range, and this is going to be the retracement. Okay, so retracement comes back here, this high to this low. Our internal swing high is this one right here, right? And so now if we're waiting for our bearish setup, we're going to wait for price to sweep this and then go lower, right? So it's essentially our short trade is going to be here with our stop above the swing above the psych level, which is 50 points, and then we go for a target of 50 points like this, right back to here. So the idea is that this is going to sweep out. We're going to take out this level, and then we're going to go lower down into our point of interest, which is all the way down here. So, you know, this could potentially come down to become a big trade. And this is what happened yesterday too, although we didn't take the short. Yesterday's trade was very similar, and that was over here. And I'll go over that in a second. I just want to see this trade right here. Okay, but we'll come back to this in a second. So let me see if this is going to keep going or not. Yep, there we go, right? So we would have gotten stopped out of that one if we took that, right? And that's because we didn't, you know, we didn't get our higher time frames, right? So this needs to sweep a level. So this would be the first area that we could look for a sweep of the level into our higher time frame point of interest. Then we need to see price come back up with a change of character, with the displacement, right? And then on the retracement, then we can look for our buys back up. So this could happen pretty quickly, but maybe it happens within. Yesterday we got our trade like pretty much right at the end of the session, right? So okay, so we have two setups here, right? The first one is going to be this short right here, right? And the next one is going to be this long if this long plays out in the next 15 minutes. Okay. If the short plays out, it would be better if we didn't reach into the higher time frame points of interest down here. So like right now, because of this sweep here, coming all the way back up to here to take this out and then taking the short, then reaching down here and then getting the long setup after that, right? That would be much better. Sequentially, that would be much better. If we come down here and trade into the higher time frame point of interest and then we get a long setup, then this isn't such a good short setup anymore, right? Because then it doesn't really give us a reason to jump back down there. All right, so I want to show you this trade here, right? Because we didn't take this yesterday. We took the long here after this happened, okay? So that's what I'm saying is I want the long to happen after we sweep out a level and take out liquidity. So this right here, if I go back in my replay to, let's just say, oh, I don't know, before 10 o'clock, right? Right here, okay? So you can see here on the bias the direction, we have a 15-minute bullish CRT, and that's because of this candle here, and this candle's about to close. So let's wait for the 10 o'clock close, which is going to happen here, okay? Now you can see the next candle paints, right? Now we have our 15-minute bearish bias in the direction. So what that means is now we're short, right? And what do we need for a short to happen? We need to see price retrace and give us a range, right? So our range becomes this high to this low, but since we don't have, actually we do have an internal here, but we don't have an internal with a green line, right? We want the significant internal. So this actually becomes our high and this becomes our low, okay? And then what we want to see is this high internal swing high swept, right? And then we want to see price come down. So our setup would essentially be a short above 415, so like essentially 420, right? Our stop goes above the swing high in the cycle level here, 35 points. And then we would just go for a 1-to-1, right? 35 really. So price plays out, right? It comes up to our level. Boom, tags our level. And then if we're taking it on a limit, right, that would be tagged in already with our stop above here. If we're taking it on the short confirmation, after the price level is swept right here, this candle actually confirms it, this bearish candle right here, right? Because it's a bearish candle, I'm okay with taking it right off of that sweep, like so. And again, my stop is going to be a little bit bigger, so above the cycle level, above the swing high, 45, and now I'm going for 45, 1-to-1. Right, and then price melts straight through. And this goes to 2R, so set to break even. 2R's right there. Next candle hits it. And we can just keep going, right? And then if you want to take it to this low here, 100 points, next candle hits it. And this low, right? Keep going. 3R, do we get 3R? I don't know if we actually get 3R, do we? 3R's right here. This is where it turns around, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, 3R. Right? And then 3R and takes out this low. Boom. Right, and after we take out those lows, now that we've done that, right, we swept that level out, we took out the lows here, and now we can go back to the upside, and this is the trade that we took. Right, after we got the close back above this level right here, right, then we took that entry long. I think we waited for the close above 300. Right there. Right, so our stop was about 60 points, I believe, right? Below the low, below the cycle level, and then we would look for a 1R. We actually waited, we only got to 50, right? I took it at 50 because that was enough, basically, for me. And we got it, and we got to 60, and then this just kept going. A little bit of a dip, right? But then it kept going. All right, so hopefully we get the same kind of conditions here today, right? We did take out these levels here. We did close. Oh, actually, we didn't close above here, right? So I like this low here to be a target because we have a higher time frame point of interest below us that we can trade into, and we're coming off of this big bearish momentum, right, from this candle. So right now, because this was the retracement, that was the premium point of interest. Now we have this low, right, and it's retracing. This looks like the obvious low now, right? Our internal is right here, but it's in the discount. So this is still the best swing high that I like, right, in the premium. Although it could just sweep this and, you know, like say mitigate this and then continue lower, that's fine. But if I was to take the short setup, I'd want it to sweep out an internal that's a little bit higher, at least trade back into the order block, bodies of the order block, right, or the previous daily high level. There's an imbalance right here. So areas in the premium where I could still see price react better than seeing it, you know, just take out something here in the discount. All right, so now we're getting a little chop here after taking out this low. We could see price start to pump back up now. Rotate back upwards. Ooh, there we go. Okay, this is going to be our first real closure above the level, right? So you can see here now we have the manipulation below the lows. We have the change of character, right? And now we have the closure back above. Okay, we've got 15-minute candle coming up, right? It's looking like it's going to be bullish. Okay, we want this to roll back up here to sweep that high if possible. And the 15-minute is going to switch to bearish, or sorry, to bullish. Okay, and then we could look for potentially a retrace buy setup back up to this high, because that's where we're expecting it to do. But I don't want to trade inside the range here, but that would be the next setup. Okay, so I want to wait for, you know, liquidity sweep above this high for short, but I also want to wait for the liquidity sweep below a low into our higher time frame point of interest, right? So we've got 50 minutes left. I know this is going to close back, but the thing is that I don't know if we're going to hit this level here, or are we going to, respect this order block, or we're going to respect previous daily low and roll back over, because we're off of that bearish momentum. So how do I get back to 15-minute confirmation is when we get closure back above previous daily low, right? We had a closure above, now we have a closure below. Now I need to see a close back above, right? And then we could take a buy back into the range. But hopefully that does it when we trade into this point of interest, not before. Because if it does it before, then we could still roll back into it, right? So I want to see it come back into these discount levels here before we see it move higher. All right, we have 15-minute candle closure, which is bullish. Looks good. 15-minute has now switched back bullish, right? EQ tested, meaning that we come back to the midpoint of the candle, which is down here. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so coming back to the midpoint of the candle, which is like somewhere in this region, coming back to these order blocks here, where we got the change of character. That would make sense if we do get a rollover in price. Closure above here would be about 70 points here right now. And that's right at the previous daily low. So here's our retracement. Let's go back to, where's my range? All right, if this is the range, then we'll have this 3-bar form here, right? We'll not go higher from here. We'll continue down. Change of character is right here at this low. Same level, basically. So we have the sweep actually on YM, right? This is the divergence on NQ. We'll see if this plays out. Unfortunately, we want to see it come back and sweep this, but this would be a confirmation that, we don't need to sweep here. So really, we could have taken the short like right here or even right here, back down to this low, but I'm not going to do that. We have a 15-minute bullish bias and also a daily bullish, so I don't want to trade against that. If we had at least, if the 15-minute was still bearish and you know, we had another confirmation, I think, could have entertained that idea. Okay, so let's see if we get up here. This is no longer our high. Still this one right here, high to low. And this is our internal. We're at our original entry from the last trade. I think we can make a note of, you know, these kinds of internal sweeps versus these. These are much stronger, obviously, right? Something like this is still kind of like, you know, borderline. Even this would have been better, right? Waiting for this to form and then sweeping this out and coming back above it. This is kind of like a little bit more borderline, even though we did have everything in alignment. So this would have been a much better sweep criteria because we would have taken out both this and this, right? And then closing back above right here on both and then entering at like the 50, 150. All right, so let's see if we get the reaction we're looking for here, because we may not get this sweep, right? We do have the imbalance here on the last push that did break both of these lows, and we do have previous daily low here. So if we do stay lower, we would continue lower here, this would be where we would expect it to happen, right at previous daily low, right? And this being manipulation above, all of this being manipulation above, and then now price taking it back. Okay, another divergence, right? This would be confirmed if we get the change of character below here. So far, not confirmed just yet, because this could still trade above and break it, just like we did this last one here. All right, we did get the close, so that is now holding. And technically the short would be valid now. Like this, 70, trading back down to this low here would be about 1 to 1.5. But again, not doing that right because we still have our bullish. We have to wait for our 10 o'clock, or sorry, 10:30 candle, right, to close below, which is what it's going to do. Looks like, and from this standpoint, that's what it's going to do. And then we should see price continue lower. So we're expecting the reaction to this order block here. This is the 15-minute OB. Okay, which is we just tagged into it right here, and the reaction lower, right? If price closes below that, then we have the bearish reaction and the retest of the previous daily low. And what we're looking for on that short setup was that we want to see price come up and sweep out this internal high, right? But since we got the divergence, we basically got that confirmation. And then now that we have this kind of intra time frame M1 change of character, we can look now for like an intra sweep. So like if price comes back up and sweeps out like this high, or maybe something that we form like that, and then we can look for a short. Down she goes. Okay, so 3 minutes to the next candle close. Looks like we're going to get that bearish close. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, my mic was, for some reason, it just turned off on me. Okay, so, sorry. What I was saying is, I don't know I don't know where my mic turned off, so I'm not sure what you guys heard and what you guys didn't. Okay, so now that we have the break below the level, this is our point of interest here, right? Our 4-hour point of interest, okay? So we are now looking for price to come down into this 4-hour point of interest, which we have now done, right? Which is below this low. Now, if you look at the range here, we're still only in the top portion. We're not even in the discount yet, right? We're not even at the equilibrium, really. So this could keep dropping. Realistically, this could keep dropping, right? And so what we want to see is we want to see price reacting to something in this discount area and then getting back above a low that we took out, right? So in this case, this is the highest one or the closest one that we have right now. So what we want to see is for price to come back down, or back above rather, after a reaction down here, wherever this may be, right? I don't know how far this is going to go down, right? And then get above here. If there's a low that forms before that, then fine, right? And that's probably going to take us into like an afternoon setup, right? But that's the 4-hour view. On the 15-minute, right, that low, we have 15-minute imbalance. We have 15-minute order block here. So this is the next level that we're really looking for price to react to, okay? So if we get a move down here and then, you know, price moves back up, then realistically, this is where we're going to look for price to turn back around and trade back into the range. All right, so this is such a nice move down here on this so we could have taken this short, right? Because we were looking for price to come back up and sweep this, right? But we got a divergence instead. Now I didn't want to take it just on the divergence, right? So if we waited for price to give us the confirmation, which was this 1-minute internal shift, right, which is this internal change of character, this tells us that this divergence is valid, right? I don't know if you guys saw, but before that, we had another one that fired right here. There was a divergence that fired right here, but it never gave us a change of character, so then price continued through it, right? And then now it gave us this one. Then when this came down and confirmed, we could have taken an entry right here, okay? But I didn't want to take it against the bias, which was at that point 15-minute it was bullish, and we also had we had a daily bullish as well. So we had two higher time frame biases going against this, right? So that's why I wanted to wait it for 10:30 to give us the 15-minute bearish, which was likely going to happen, right? Which is what we're seeing right now. And then, you know, price came up and maybe, you know, sweep out an internal high, and then we could take a short, you know, after 10:30. But obviously price continued to melt, right? And we went through, so no setup there. and we missed this entry here, right, which would have been a monster at this point. So now, because we took out this low, because we're now in the discount, and because we're in our points of interest that we're looking for price to roll back up, okay, now we want to see our bullish setup occur. We're no longer looking for this to play out because it's already done that. So now we want to see a price create our bullish conditions. Okay, so now our 15-minute has to close back above key levels. In this case, this low, this swing low right here. So if we get a closure back above, right now it's a close below, and now the next candle closes back above, that would be a 15-minute bias bullish now, going back up to, trade back into the range. Not necessarily trading all the way back up to, all-time highs, but just, in this particular downtrend, we're looking for it to at least trade back to the equilibrium or premium of the range. If it's going to continue to go lower, we would still want it to go back up, to those areas anyway, right? So either way, we're looking for price to do this, right? Close back above a relevant level. Then from here, if we have all our confirmations, when price retraces, now we look for our 1-minute confirmations down here, right? And then look for the trade back to the equilibrium. All right. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to set up for us like that in between now and the end of the session. So we'll probably just call it here. But if it does, that's what we'll look for. Now, the lows that form after this, it still could form, some other lows after this, right? So this might not be where it forms. So let's just say, for example, it does this. It chops around, right? And does this, and then it goes down one more time, right? Now, this is my relevant low, and if we get back above that, right, now I've got my sweep into my discount POI, okay, and now I'm looking for, after this retracement, the confirmations for the buy. Okay, so we just had to wait for structure to kind of form. This is, it's still just on the big drop right now. There's not really too much to work with here. And for a short even, we would also want to wait for this to play out, right? And then we have some sort of internal structure here in this discount, or so the premium, that we would then sweep, right, up here. Oops, what am I doing here? This one, right? That we would sweep in this premium, okay, like so. And then we would take that confirmation, right? And if you're not sure about this one, then wait for the 1-minute change of character, and then take that, right? Take this little 1-minute sweep, and then, right? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. I'll go over it again, right? But that's what you're going to look for going into the PM session. If you're going to take another trade, I am done for today. Obviously, I took my hit there. I was going to take another one if it sets us an opportunity, but I'm not going to trade the PM today. I'll wait for tomorrow. Okay, any questions, any comments? We'll come back and do it again tomorrow. Unfortunately, we took an L today, but that's what happens, right? Can't win them all, but every day is a new opportunity, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll get it back. All right, good stuff. Anyone have any comments? Nope, doesn't look like it. No, on the YouTube as well. Hopefully you guys follow along okay on the YouTube. And if you guys have any questions on YouTube, you can always put them in the comments below. I still read them, and I'll answer them if you guys think of anything afterwards. Right, but otherwise we'll come back tomorrow, guys. We'll hit it again, and hopefully we'll catch a banger. All right, good stuff, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, right? And we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.